everyone's talking about the new Witcher DLC with their own theories on what ifs and what it could be, but let me just give you the actual most recent evidence from February 2026 that this is actually happening, and not just rehashing some old info from December about maybe it could happen, but we legit have a bunch of new information from just a week back, from industry insiders, updates to the CD Projekt Red social media, and a few more things. So without theory crafting here, let's actually rank the most legit evidence that we have that like 99% confirms that we are in fact getting a new expansion and it's not some new armor DLC promotion for Witcher 3. So as I said, you've been hearing about the new Witcher DLC coming out for the past month at least, the big expansion, bigger than Blood and Wine in 2026, May this year, and all of this is for a good reason. It is really as good as certain that something is happening because there are just way too many hints going on at the same time. So the biggest evidence that we have, the most legit one, comes from CD Projekt Red themselves. We actually have some insight into the earnings of the studio. They're expecting a big influx of money in 2026, and seeing that CD Projekt Red is not exactly running 15 different titles, but just 2 different franchises, and Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk are not coming this year, you really shouldn't look further than Witcher 3. The info from the CD Projekt Red chief financial officer hinted that they're planning new content in 2026, and we actually have a professional financial analyst from a company called Noble Securities that has built a financial model for CD Projekt Red. Like, they hired them to build this financial model that included a $30 expansion for Witcher 3 expected around May this year. Personally, I'm not really certain it really is coming in May as we're already near March, but a $30 expansion signifies something bigger, at least the size of Blood and Wine, but potentially larger, seeing how much money they made over the years. Now, another really interesting hint that came about a week or 2 back that people on Reddit noticed is that on the official YouTube channel for CD Projekt Red, they had actually updated several playlists for Witcher 3 and Witcher 4, despite no new videos being added, which indicates that they might be uploading something behind the scenes or setting up the playlists for the announcement. The other evidence that we have is that apparently Fool's Theory Studio is working on an unannounced project. CD Projekt Red has actually confirmed this recently, and Fool's Theory is a company that is working on remaking Witcher 1, which should be coming out near Witcher 4. The leak from insiders states that the budget for this new expansion is around $14.5 million, which makes sense. I mean, it doesn't sound like a large amount of money, but they are building an expansion for a game that is already built. I mean, all the systems are already there. However, do not stray here into speculation territory, let me give you more actual evidence. So the next big batch of evidence comes from industry insiders, and by the way, I'm not talking about some guy who knows a guy whose brother works at CD Projekt Red. We have hints from multiple very reliable industry insiders with a big reputation that a new expansion is actually being built behind the scenes. Interesting enough, it's not just one guy that is pushing this story. We first have IGN Poland that has stated that they've known about this for years, that CD Projekt Red at one point was working on a Zerkin expansion like 5 years back, but they're also talking about how they know something is coming now. There is another former editor-in-chief of a prominent Polish publication that confirmed that the new DLC is actually real. Now, just so that you don't think this is a few guys from Polish media pushing this, a few days back, we got another reliable industry insider called Nate the Hate, who previously leaked a lot of legit stuff, talk about this as well. Someone asked him if he can say anything about the upcoming Witcher 3 expansion, and he says that he has heard about it, but he's working to confirm further details. I mean, if you got multiple industry insiders over the course of a month independently talking about this, I don't really think this is a fake, like, forum leak. Furthermore, in an interview from about a month back, CD Projekt Red was asked about this and they just said no comment, which furthermore plays into this. I mean, if they really were not working on this, they probably wouldn't want to leave the fans hanging, so they would really deny that something is happening. Now, just legit logic here, it just makes too much sense. There is too much evidence, and it makes so much sense for them to release the new DLC, despite this being a decade-old game and people like dooming and glooming. First of all, with the remaster, Witcher 3 can easily hang around in 2026, but we recently heard that Witcher 4 is working on an absolutely mind-boggling budget. We're talking nearly $1 billion, which is over 10 times more than they ever spent on Witcher 3. I mean, they're really building this game, and half of the budget is supposedly for marketing. Witcher 3 is crazy successful. They sold over 60 million copies, so why wouldn't they release this as a bridge expansion to get the old fans hooked into the game and get them to want to continue playing in Witcher 4? It just makes so much sense. So far, the evidence states that the new expansion would likely be based in Zerrikania, and before people say Kovir, I'm almost 100% certain this is not happening. I mean, Witcher 4 is based in the Kovir region. Why would they build Kovir once again in the old version of their engine? They're not even using the same engine in Witcher 3. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, Witcher 3 has retired Geralt, and Witcher 4 is about Ciri already being an experienced Witcher herself. This expansion is almost certainly going to be a Geralt one, where he has a long questline with Ciri, where he truly prepares her for the independent Witcher life. The Zerrikania expansion makes the most amount of sense because that is where the only female Witchers were found according to the established lore, where they did the mutations on them. Ciri, while a Witcher by the Witcher 3 ending, if you chose that, is not really a true Witcher as she hasn't been mutated, she's just using a sword. Geralt venturing with her to Zerrikania to discover this would honestly make the most amount of sense. Then Ciri is set, Geralt is truly retired, and her story continues in Kovir in Witcher 4. All this makes the most amount of sense, especially when you combine it with the leaks and the fact that IGN Poland talked about Zerrikania specifically. So something is definitely coming. I think we're going to discover what any day now. Thanks for watching. Check out who are the most powerful characters in Witcher 3 by clicking on the screen, and also subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.